Today, we are going to look at budgets in a multimedia presentational format. So, let's get started. Today, we're going to look at Mallory. Mallory works at an airline company, and she lives outside the city. Right now, her job is $600, and that will remain consistent for her. She recently bought a car, however, because she lives away from her job. Therefore, she needs to accommodate transportation in her budgets. She used to take public transportation, but she found it didn't fit her schedule, so car payments and utilizing a car definitely makes more sense for her and her lifestyle. However, she wants to accommodate her new long and short-term goals. Her long-term goal is that she wants to go back to school at night to obtain a higher education. This education would be a great investment for her, as not only could it lead to greater promotions in the future, but it could also lead to her being more competitive amongst other potential employees when she might be looking for another job down the line. Also, to go back to school, she finds that a new computer would be useful for her, so her short-term goal would be to purchase a new computer. However, she did get a new promotion recently, so those goals will be easier to finance into her budget in the upcoming month. So, let's look at her old budget to know what we are going to work off of. Well, her salary right now is $1,850, and that is her only source of income. However, she has her fixed expenses. These are things that we can't really change the new budget. So her rent, as I said, is $600. Her car payments, which she switched over to car payments rather than public transportation recently. So those car payments are going to be $475, and that includes her car payments, her insurance, and her gas prices. She also has a renter's insurance of $20. So that equals a total fixed expenses of $1,095. From there, we can look at our variable expenses, which previously she had her utilities at $230, her grocery bills were at $300, entertainment was $50, discretionary, she was saving herself about $75, and she was not yet saving for her computer. So that leads to a total variable expense of $655. In total, for all of her expenses, both fixed and variable, she was spending about $1,750. Overall, subtract that $1,750 from her income of $1,850, and you get a total of $100 in savings that she was putting towards per month. So now that we know Mallory's old budget, we're able to create her new budget. Well, what's new in her life? Well, we know that she got a promotion. So her old salary of $1,850 was able to go up to $2,190. However, we also know that she has those goals, as I mentioned. She wants to save $4,500 for her college tuitions. In order to go to college, she wants to save $600 to get that new computer. So let's look at her new budget. Well, we see that her fixed expenses are the exact same as they were previously. There's still $600 for rent, $475 for all of her car payments, and $20 for her renter's insurance, creating a total of $1,095 in total fixed expenses. But we can now look at our variable expenses. These are the things that we're able to now change around a bit. We know that we had previously had $300 put in for groceries, and we weren't saving at all for her computer. But everything else we were able to keep the same. So utilities are still $230, her entertainment is still $50, and her discretionary is still $75. So she can still go on the occasional shopping spree. But we did decrease her groceries from $300 to $250, and that's able to allow her to put those $50 previously in groceries to put those $50 now into her computer savings. This still, however, creates a total variable expenses of $655. So basically, all that money that she got from her promotion, we are immediately able to put towards her savings, which now total $440. Since our total variable and our total fixed expenses add together to still have that $1,890, those $1,890 of expenses, we are able to subtract those from our total income, which is now $2,190, and we have that total of $440 in savings. $440 in savings. So, looking in a year from now, she's now able to have $600 to go towards her computer and $5,280 to go towards her college tuition. Now, if we go back to my previous slide here, we saw that her long-term goal for college was $4,500 and her short-term was $600 for that computer. And if we look back at this new budget, we can see that she did make that computer goal on the dot for $600, but her savings, we were able to go from her initial goal of $4,500 and exceed that by $780. So why do we know this works? Well, we know that those fixed expenses have to stay the same. That's her rent, her car payments, and her renter's insurance. And we want those to stay the same because we want her to still have all of those needs in her life. And we know that those cannot be altered, but we do know that the variable expenses can. And that's why this budget is able to work, because we're able to decrease those groceries and put that towards computers. We know that groceries, she can easily just choose to do like maybe fewer organic produce, or maybe she can spend more money on cheaper brands or the generic brands rather than the name brand. But there's definitely other ways that people could look at this, or how Mallory could have looked at this. One idea could be that she could have canceled her insurance. Personally, I would recommend against this, because what if something were to happen to her building? Then we know that at least she's in place, and it's one less thing for Mallory to worry about. She could also reduce her discretionary spending, but we are human, and that's something that it's a little harder to gauge. So having that discretionary spending as what she was used to beforehand is easier for her to accommodate to, rather than decrease it, let's say down to 50. She could also reduce her water usage to save on her utilities. This could also go towards her phone bill and others utilities such as that could easily be altered depending on how much she uses them. But as I was saying with discretionary spending, she was already used to having that budget of $230, and it's easier to keep it where it's at than decrease it. Just because, again, it's harder to change those habits on a snap like that. She could also take public transportation, but as I had mentioned earlier, she found that public transportation didn't fit into her schedule, as her schedule was constantly changing, and it was easier just to have that car so she could depend on herself and herself only, rather than having to depend on trains or buses, or other public transportations that have a set time of when they're leaving and when they're arriving. And so, success! Mallory had just made her short and long-term goals in 1 year. And that's pretty simple, right? All we pretty much did was decrease her groceries by $50 to put directly towards her computer, and because of her promotion, we were able to directly save all of that promotional money to go towards her college education. And if we look at this chart here, we see that her savings constantly increase, and her goal, we passed her goal somewhere in between October and November there. So really, if Mallory wanted to do that winter semester, she could do that winter semester earlier than she was originally planning on it. So overall, Mallory was able to meet her goals and still have all of the needs that she has in her life. So thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your day.